Anthony, good to see you, my friend.
I think we're going to Botswana. You ready to get on the plane?
I want to go to Botswana.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of No Vacancy Live. This is episode 613 for April 6, 2022. That's Anthony Melchiori. I'm Glenn Hausman. Anthony, so good to see you, brother.
So over 600 episodes. Have we done anything, Glenn? Have we done anything? Has this been important for our industry, or are we just wasting everybody's time?
I feel like we're mostly wasting everybody's time, but in a good way. You could be out there working, accomplishing things, but instead spending an hour with us is just like putting on a nice, warm, woolly blanket.
Yeah, actually, I put on a nice, warm, woolly sweater today because it's chilly here in New York. I just came back from 90-degree weather in Arizona, and 90-degree weather in Arizona feels like 70 in New York weather.
Yeah, it sure does. And hey, guys, this is why you tune into No Vacancy Live every day. It's hard-hitting conversation, such as what kind of sweater will we wear? But Anthony, before we bring on our guest, saying this is going to be a fun one. I thought it was interesting because I was watching the YouTube last night, and instead of seeing normal ads and stuff like that, I saw a cool hotel-related ad, but not to go stay at their hotel, but to work for Great Wolf Lodge. And the whole ad was saying, hey, it's a great team to work with. You could create friends and all of that. I've never seen a video ad for hotel labor, particularly on YouTube.
Well, first of all, that's where they belong now. All ads belong on social media. And number two, it's because they're desperate. You know, people are desperate to find workers. And again, don't get me started why we're desperate for workers. You know, I don't think Europe is having the same problems America's having, because I think they saw it as a profession. So now they're everybody's kind of in overdrive trying to get employees, and hopefully they pay them well, and hopefully they give them good benefits, and they take care of their employees, and they'll stay for a long time. And I mean, Great Wolf Lodge is a great company.
Yeah, I think so too. I love taking my kids there when they were younger. Not that they wouldn't enjoy it now, but they're 18 and they don't want to do that stuff with me these days.
I'm not an indoor water park guy, and I ran outdoor water parks at Nickelodeon, but I'm not an indoor water park guy. I'm not really a water park guy.
Yeah, I'm not kind of into water or parks or pretty much anything. I am into warm, woolly jackets, though. That much I know. All right. Another thing I'm into is great conversations with great people. And this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a different one. We went a little bit outside the hospitality industry on this one to find one of the first ever female pilots flying for the Botswana military, Kgomotso Phatsima. So great to see you. Welcome to our show. I hope I gave your name justice.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on this show. I'm so excited to be here with you guys, all the way from Botswana, Africa.
That is so amazing. Now, Botswana is a country I'd love to visit one day, and I've never been to the African continent either to see any of the 60-plus amazing countries that are there. So it's a little bit different for all of us up here, in the United States. What was it like growing up in Botswana, and what led you down the path of wanting to fly?
I grew up from very humble beginnings in a small village called Lidumadumani. It's just a stone throw from Kgomotso International Airport. It's one of the largest airports in Botswana. So I used to walk barefoot to school, and I used to see aeroplanes flying over my mother's thatched roofed house. Mm-hmm. And then from an early young age, I knew I was born to fly.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So first of all, for people that haven't been to Botswana, tell a little bit about Botswana, the country, and then tell us how you went about working in the military and flying for the military.
And just so you know, Captain, our very own Anthony was in the military here in the United States in the Air Force.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Another veteran.
I did not fly. I apparently didn't have the brain power to fly. But I did pour coffee for generals, which was cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So Botswana is in the center of Southern Africa. It's one of the most peaceful countries in Southern Africa. It has a population of 2.2 million people, and we have 2.4 million cattle. The cattle are more than the people. It's quite a beautiful country with the Okavango Delta, the Chove National Park. It's a beautiful country to visit. Yeah, after finishing my Form 5, because I knew where I wanted to go, I always knew that I wanted to fly. I finished my Form 5 with high flying colors. And when I told my mother that I wanted to fly, she said, we are too poor. During our time, girl child could not even dream of flying planes. I should go to the university and become a teacher. With a very heavy heart, I went to University of Botswana, and indeed studied Bachelor of Education Science in both maths and physics. And then I finished in 2008, and I was deployed in Good Hope Senior Secondary School to teach mathematics and physics. So that's how I went into teaching. And then in April 2009, the Botswana Defense Force decided to enlist its first female military pilot. And that very degree that I was reluctant to do became like the runway towards my flying career, because the requirement was a basic degree in science, and I had done Bachelor of Education in both mathematics and physics. So that's how I joined the Army and ultimately flew in the Army.
That's pretty awesome. A little bit of you wanted to do something, you set your mind to it, and happening to be in the right place at the right time. Just as your country started to go through, I guess I would call it meaningful changes, that they opened it up to amazing people that happen to not be men, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because my mother was saying that during her time, a girl child could never even dream of becoming a pilot. Instead, I should become a teacher. It was very, very hard for me to become a teacher. But that degree that I didn't want to do gave me a leeway for me to join the military, and ultimately flew. So I think it was quite a good turning point for me to be able to join the military.
So you were the first female military pilot, is that correct?
Yes, I'm one of the first. There were 4 of us who first flew in the military. 2 of us went and flew fixed wing, and then 2 others they went and flew helicopters. What we do is the Botswana Defense Force helps the ground force in the northern sector of Botswana. As you know, that Botswana there's a lot of elephants, there's a lot of rhinos, and also this flora and fauna. There's quite a lot of poachers who are killing our elephant. Right. So the military, what they do, the Air Force and the military, they support the ground forces with air power. Wow. So the 10 years that I was deployed in the military, I was doing aerial patrols, troop insertions, I was transporting soldiers, taking food around. I think I know everywhere in the country where there is a runway strip, where there is a landing strip, everywhere in the country. I've been almost everywhere in the country, even in the deep areas, deep in the Okavango Delta.
Was it everything, being a pilot, was it everything you hoped it would be?
Yes, it was a beautiful experience. I love flying so much that it gives its completeness to me. I'll do it for free if I have to. It's something that I love, and it's so close to my heart. Yeah.
Are you still in the military?
I left the military in April 2019 after serving 10 years. Wow. I left because I started the first year I was in the military. I started Dare to Dream. Dare to Dream is a foundation. We are now based at Botswana Innovation Hub. We are dedicated to advancing youth, women, and girls in STEAM, in science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, as well as entrepreneurship and aviation and aerospace. So throughout my military career, I set up this foundation. So it grew as I was in the military. And then in 2018, I was chosen by the 44th President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, as one of the young people who are changing the narrative of the African continent. Mm-hmm. And I was taken there to the United States. We visited New York, Atlanta, New Mexico. Wow. We went around so many states on a leadership tour of the United States. When I came back to Botswana, I was given the 80th Commonwealth Point of Light Award by Her Majesty the Queen. Commonwealth Point of Light Award. Point of Light is like you are pointing a light to other young people and showing them that it's possible for you to grow up from very humble beginning and become something in life.
I actually am getting emotional.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, because it's beautiful to see your mother saying a woman couldn't do that, and you came from very humble beginnings, and you, without being arrogant or pushing or saying I'm going to do it, you somehow flawlessly made your climb your way, and then the President of the United States and the Queen of England, know who you are. That is what touches me, because you don't have to be an aggressive person. You just have to be a person that dreams and does the work. It's easy to say you're a pilot. It's easy to say you met all these people. It's easy to say you developed this organization. But what's hard is all the work that people don't see. And so that I have tremendous respect for you for. It's not becoming a pilot. It's the work you did to become a pilot.
I got a question for you, Captain. What made you think you could and would when everybody told you you couldn't?
Like I said, I'll share with you one of my CNN documentaries that I did. Every time when I was in the military, the first year, it was very, very tough. They made us walk 120 kilometers in different weather conditions. Every time when I saw an aeroplane flying above the sky, if I was running, I'll run faster. If I was shooting, I'll shoot with more precision. I knew absolutely without a doubt that I will end up flying. Even when I was walking barefoot to school, other young people laughing at me, saying that I do not have shoes. I knew that ultimately I'm going to be a pilot. So I made sure that even if they laugh at me saying that I don't put on school shoes, I make sure that I laugh at them when it comes to my studies. So I did extremely well, because it is saying that knowing where you are going is the first step of getting there. So I knew where I was going.
That's absolutely beautiful, and you're such an inspiration. When you tell someone in your country that may not know you that you're a pilot, what's their reaction?
They cannot believe that a woman can fly. Even when I was in the military, some of our bosses would say that, no, if it's a woman flying, myself, I'm not going. You know what I will do? I'll tell them that if you don't get inside this plane, I'm going. And then I'll close the door. And when I close the door, everybody will jump in fast. Because even in our country, even everywhere in the world, it's not a common thing. It's very rare to have a female, a soldier. Especially here in Africa, where there are not a lot of resources. As you know, that the aviation industry is very, very expensive for you to train a young person to be a pilot. So it's a very rare sight to have a young person, a pilot, and for that matter. So it's not like a lot of people don't believe. A lot of men say that, no, but you cannot fly. They touch my hands and say, your hands are too soft to be a pilot.
So how do you, like a lot of people, has that attitude of you're a woman, you can't fly, your hands are too soft, I'm not getting in a plane. Did that ever bring you down, or you're too strong-minded and you just kept on focusing on the right things?
Yeah, I think the first year we did military training, they taught us tactics, they taught us leadership, they taught us how to lead men to war. They taught us how to shoot guns and shoot to kill. So that training on its own, it was a foundation that made me realize that a woman can do anything that a man can do. And most importantly, we need the men to support us, because when I was learning to be a pilot, there was no female instructor, only male instructor. And they made sure that they help us to the highest degree so that we can be good pilots too. So I learned that I can work with both the men and the women so that we can support each other. So that for me, it's not really about me being a pilot and a female and stuff like that. I've been groomed in such a way that I can be held by both a male and a female.
So the men pilots that were training you, they did a good job. They treated you like everyone else?
Yes. At first, because we were the first, it wasn't that nice. But the commander told them that you have to teach these girls. You have to make sure that by the time they are done, they are good pilots as other guys. Because we were training in the same cohort with other guys. No, it was not only the girls. So they made sure that they trained us as equally as the males. So I love the fact that they really, really train us. And everywhere I go, I say that the Botswana Defense Force has done an amazing job by grooming us, especially myself, grooming me to be one of the most excelling captains of our generation. More especially for them, even over and above my flying career, I was also an aviation safety specialist. I did my master's in strategic management with a focus on aviation safety. And then the US Army also came here to teach us about accidents investigation. So I was a pilot and also a aviation safety specialist, where I help with accidents investigation and stuff like that. So I really appreciate what the Botswana Defense Force did in grooming me to be one of the best pilots. Not only that, also allowing me to set up Dare to Dream and travel the world while I was still in the Army. For that reason, I even went to the Global Aviation Investment Summit in Dubai, where we met Airbus in 2017, 2018, Airbus, where we met Airbus. And then the Airbus Foundation partnered with my organization, Dare to Dream, and sponsored us here so that we can train more young people in STEM as well as in aviation and aerospace.
Wow.
So, Glenn, how does it feel to have an underachiever on the show?
I know. Well, it's a shame, but what can I tell you? Thank you for making me feel like I've accomplished nothing in my life.
No, you have accomplished a lot.
I'm just kidding.
I have one more question.
Oh yes, let's go for it.
Just one more question.
Go for it.
Where do you, when you're retired and you're sitting, on the front porch? I'm sure you'll be sitting there just for a second because I'm sure you're not a front porch sitter. But when you're ready to just retire and relax, what is your biggest dream that you hope you've accomplished?
My biggest dream and my greatest aspiration. The reason why I left.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead. I'll see if I'm right. Go ahead.
And then it'll probably be a nice bridge to the next section that I want to talk about.
So my biggest dream and greatest aspiration, over and above my foundation, Dare to Dream, and why I left the military. When I left, I went to say goodbye to the commander, Defense Force, and he said that, but Phatsima, we wanted to groom you to be one of the first female air arm commanders. I saluted and say, thank you, sir. It is not my dream for me to be a commander. But the fact that you wanted to groom me it shows that you see something in me. But I back to my dream now. My biggest dream and my greatest aspiration is to start my own aviation charter business. I want to. Botswana, like I say, it's a beautiful country. A lot of tourists come from the US, from Europe to come here and see our beautiful country. I want to buy a small aircraft, just as small, with a PC-12, and transport tourists around and show them the beauty of Botswana. I was privileged for the past 10 years to be one of the young people helping with the conversation, helping make sure that the aerial patrolling. So I know the beauty of Botswana from the aerial view, and I would really much like in the future to have my own small aircraft and start showing tourists around. Even you guys come to Botswana and appreciate the beauty of Botswana.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say be Prime Minister or President of Botswana.
No, this is what she's going to do after she does that, Anthony.
Yeah, after that, I want to be the president of Botswana. After achieving this first dream of having my own aviation charter business, starting small, just one aircraft, and then I start small, and then after that, my next dream is to be a president of the Republic of Botswana.
Is that a serious goal of yours?
Is that what?
Is that a goal of yours to be president of Botswana or no?
It is. I believe that I believe that women have what it takes for them to lead the country. Oh, yeah. I believe that both male and female can both help this country go forward. Not only Botswana, but the African continent to go forward. It's incumbent upon us to really step up to the game, ensure that we can lead the country, we can lead the continent as women, not only alone, because I believe that both the male and the female have a role to play in taking our continent, our world forward and changing it for the better.
Right. And it's the same thing here. Now, here in the United States, women have been able to make great achievements over the last 30, 40, 50 years. However, there is more room to go, more room to grow. One of the areas that I think women have achieved is attending college. They're now attending college here in the United States in a higher number than men are. And it's really changing the game, particularly when it comes to what you're very passionate about. And that's what we call STEM here: science, technology, engineering, and math. I think you have a couple of others on there. Entrepreneurship and arts you add in there as well. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing to empower young women and girls to know that you've achieved, they can too.
Yes, I set up Dare to Dream Foundation here at Botswana Digital and Innovation Hub. We encourage the women and the girls and the youth to pursue careers in science and technology, in engineering and arts, as well as mathematics. We also, most importantly, right now in Africa, I don't know much about the United States, but I think it's all across the world. There's no job.
Botswana, so we're even.
There's no jobs, more especially for the youth. So we encourage young people to start businesses in the field of science and technology. That's why we added entrepreneurship. We also do robotics and coding workshops. Yeah, we do youth entrepreneurship. So it is important for us also not only to build young people who are going to go into the careers of STEM, but also to make sure them aware that they can set up businesses in the technology, the digital space, so that they can employ themselves and employ others.
That's awesome, Phatsima, because usually, like here, we focus on it, go, then you work for the big tech company or whatever it might be. Here you're saying rely on yourself fully, not only learn these skills, but start a business while you're at it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I left my military flying career. It was providing for myself and my family to start this foundation that is providing for myself and 10 other young people that I have employed in my organization. So you see the ripple effect for us young people. If you start something that is going to not only employ yourself, but also impact other young people. Like I say, there's a lot of unemployment, youth unemployment cases here in Botswana, as well as in Africa. There is a lot because of the COVID-19. A lot of people have been retrenched. So it's important for us to build young people who are going to be entrepreneurs, who are going to be changing our country and building our economies as well.
There's a strength in you that I haven't seen in a lot of people in my life, let alone on the show. And there's a belief that you have, and I really believe if you would have told me your goal isn't to be president of Botswana, I'd be disappointed, because there's very few people I would probably meet on this earth that could be. So just it's an honor to talk to you. What I want to know, the moment you got your wings, your mom, I'm sure, was there. What was your mom's reaction?
Yeah. My mother came with me to for the wind ceremony, and then they asked us if they wanted to fly. She said, "No, I don't want to fly." My mother was like 45 years older than me, so we really lived in different generations. And then and then all the time when they were plane crashes around, she will call and ask me if I'm okay. And then she kept on telling me that you should go to the university and work in the office. The reason why I did my master's degree is because she kept on telling me that I study further so that you can work in the office. But she did not understand that the aeroplane is actually my office. The aeroplane is where I find completeness and where I find the most joy. But indeed, I went on into the university and made sure that I study further. Yeah, she was very, very happy when I got the wins, but she was never settled. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. Did she ever fly in your airplane?
No, she never did. She was always afraid to fly.
I understand that feeling. I can't imagine actually flying an airplane myself. Anthony and I were on planes all of the time, right? We've got millions of miles between us, but the thought of actually being in the pilot seat and having that responsibility is too much for me to.
It's interesting. I was walking through an airport last night, and I see a pilot, and I'm sitting there. I go into the Delta, and I started thinking about being a pilot, and I was like, and I was in the Air Force. So one of the reasons I wanted to go in the Air Force is because maybe one day I can fly. I didn't go wanting to fly. It was like, if I'm in the Air Force, maybe they'll send me to school. I'm colorblind. I couldn't fly. But I never thought, when I thought about maybe I'd be a pilot, I never thought about the responsibility that you have. And I'm thinking that pilot's going to get in the seat. They're standing in line like us. They're walking through. They have their luggage like we do. And now they're sitting in the seat and they're going to fly 400 strangers, okay, somewhere, and they're going to land safely. 90, and it was funny because as I'm walking through the airport, it's like we're all getting on airplanes and getting off airplanes like we're walking down the sidewalk. It's like we don't even think about it anymore because of the expertise of not only the technology of the planes, but the expertise of people like you. But we don't even give it a second thought. And I was thinking if a plane crashed once a week, a big plane, like we would not be flying. It would change the dynamic of the world.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility for you to be a pilot. I think even going through it on the military side, where they teach you discipline, where they teach you responsibility. I think for me it was a great foundation for me to start flying in the military. Even though I have a commercial pilot's license as well, I can fly commercially. But in the military, they teach you responsibility, they teach you discipline, dedication, to make sure that you do your work to the best of your ability, and to realize that you are holding people's hands on your palms. You have to make sure that you do your job to the absolute of your best.
And did you feel because you were a woman that if you made a mistake, it was just multiplied, that it was worse because you were a woman?
No, not at all. Because, like I said, we train with men. We train with men and there was never a point where I felt like I was less of a man. And
no,
also the
military. Not you. Do you feel other people treated your mistake bigger because you were a woman, as they would?
I think because of my military training, even if they did, I was always myself. The way I was as a pilot was that if I don't understand something, I'll go back to my boss and say, can you explain this to me? I don't get it properly. How do you want me to fly this plane? How do you want me to get this maneuver? So I was always this kind of student who was always and ever willing to learn. Yeah, so such that even if I made a mistake, it was going to be a mistake that could be made by either a male or a female. It wasn't even about gender, because I was this student who can always go and say, but here I did not understand. Can you kindly explain to me further, or can you show me this maneuver more slowly so that I can get it right?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm surprised to hear that, Anthony, because it sounds like a very different story than most women have heard, experienced here in the United States.
Well, no, because there's a lot of women that I've met that also have that. Matter of fact, a lot of women, when I ask that question, they're like, I'm too busy doing my job to worry about how other people perceive me. And so there's the mindset. And I guess because growing up where people, undermined you or didn't believe in you, it's just like, you know what, if I don't stop this and close that window now, it's going to overtake my life. So that doesn't exist to me. And I find that a lot when I talk to powerful women. And obviously you're a very powerful woman who's going to do great things. And, I just can't say enough good things. And I've never met you before. I didn't even know who you were or what we were going to talk about today. But your mindset is powerful. And it's all about mindset. So whether you want to be a pilot or whether you want to be a teacher or you want to be a bus driver, you would probably be the best teacher, the best bus driver, or the best pilot, period, because of your mindset. So when you speak to young people, young women, how much do you talk about mindset?
Yeah, that is very, very important because remember I said when I was walking barefoot to school, in that midst of poverty, I always knew that I was going to fly. So it is that mindset that I built during my early age that I'm going to reach somewhere. So when I talk to young people, I tell them that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the family that you come from, whether you are poor or rich or what. Whatever you will, you have been gifted to do, and you have to make sure that you go out there and get it. The world does not owe you anything. You have to make sure that you do the work. And I show them an example about myself that this is what I did. I didn't even know that how I'm going to end up where I am, but I made sure that my results, my Form 5 results speaks for myself to an point where I get sponsored at the university and also get picked in the military. So I tell young people that you really need to put yourself out there. You really need to do the work and build a very mindset that you know that you believe in yourself no matter what. And you must know that other people are going to doubt you. Other people are going to say you are not good enough. You have to know that, even amidst that, you have to know that you really, really need to learn and put your best foot forward. Like I said myself, I'm a student everywhere I go. If I don't understand something, I ask. Say, I don't understand this. Can you kindly explain to me this one? As humbly as I can, and I make sure that I learn. So this is one of the things that I tell young people, that be humble, make sure that you learn as much as you can, so that you can achieve greater heights.
That's the greatest lesson I think any human being could have, is be humble and work hard, and that is the secret. That's just people ask me what's the secret. I always say there is no secret, but I'm going to maybe change my answer and say there is a secret. Be humble and work hard. I think that's the secret, right?
Yeah.
And even if you're not a pilot, people you see on TV that work and you say, oh, they have such an easy life. Very few people I know that have achieved anything in this world haven't worked really, really hard. And, and it's just, it says a lot about you. It says a lot about your mother, your family, how you grew up. And where you lived, were other people as poor as your family, or did other people have shoes, or did everybody in your community, in your town, not have?
Yeah, I know the village that I grew in, it was quite a very poor village, and most of the time, most of other students, a few of them, like myself, did not have shoes. And also, I was one of the first young people in my side of the village to go to the university. So you can see that when we were growing up, we didn't have mentors. We didn't have anyone to look up to who was excelling. But I made sure that I looked up the sky. I looked at the plane and make sure that somehow, somewhere, I get that hope in me that I should go somewhere, so that the others also can look up to me and say, if she has been there, when she's coming from the very same village that we are coming from, even us, we can go somewhere.
Wow. Beautiful. All right. So before we wrap up, I want to ask you a question on the lighter side of things. You talked about coming to the United States of America, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that struck you about our culture? And I'm also curious as to know what food that was typically American that you really liked, and what freaked you out.
Yeah, the first thing I saw in America was that the people are like us in Africa, the dark skin, they're like us. And for a moment, I wanted to speak to them in my mother tongue, Setswana. And then when they spoke the English language, that's when I realized that these are not our people at all. They spoke fast and they spoke very differently. I remember I got into Atlanta and I didn't follow the airport route nicely. So I was like asking, where can I get to? The next gate. Where is the next gate? And then, ma'am, you must follow the line, man. Ma'am, we must follow the line. And he stopped.
Welcome to America.
And he spoke to me so fast. Here in Botswana, if you get here and you don't know somewhere, you can actually ask anyone, then they will help you without even having to be rude to you. So in America, it was a bit different. And then secondly, I love the culture. Americans, what they do is that we went to the White House. Yeah, we went to the White House. We saw a lot of horses. We went to the Martin Luther King statue. And I saw that in America, there is a lot of cultural preservation, history. There's a lot of history that is
particularly in Washington, D.C.
In Washington, yeah.
That.
Yeah. And then we also went to New Mexico, where there is a lot of culture as well. So I love that about Mexicans. And then we also had the home where you go to the home, where you go to a home of the Americans, and you eat with them and stuff like that. So we went to some place in Silicon Valley where we met some couple and we sat with them. There were some investors and stuff like that. So it was quite beautiful. And one thing I loved about Americans, and I came back from there very fat, we were eating McDonald's. In Botswana here, there is no McDonald's.
Right. Good. Lucky you.
And where we were, everywhere we went, the McDonald's was the Coke, the drinks were free, and the McDonald's you can buy that one. So it was the first time for me to get a free drink. So we bought a lot of them. I ate quite a lot of McDonald's when I was
there. That's absolutely amazing. The first time you were in New York, did you go to Times Square?
Yes, we went to Times Square. It was beautiful, very, very amazing.
But it must be crazy growing up in a small village in a different continent and coming to this place with all these incredible tall buildings and people everywhere.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And also, like I said, um I in the midst of all these things happening to me, being chosen by the President Obama as one of young people changing the narrative of the continent, being chosen by Airbus, being taken to United Arab Emirates as well, I could pause and try to look back where I'm from, try to look back when I was growing up and say, I never thought at any point I'll be where I am. Even when I started Dare to Dream, I didn't know that I will end up where I am. That's why I even tell you guys that I'm going to be the president of Botswana. For what has happened to me when I was in my journey, it shows that everything is possible. You just have to go out there and grab it.
Yeah, and you know what? I like making predictions, and I like being right. And when you speak to the president, the future president of Botswana, you know it, and I know it. And but I also want to go back for a second, right? Because people look at you and they're like, that's too big. Going to the White House, going to America, becoming a pilot, that's too big. I can't dream that big. And by taking what was accessible to you, having the military open up for you, having college open up to you, having America open up to you, all you had to do is keep walking. Don't stop walking. Just keep going with sneakers on or no sneakers. Just keep walking. And that's what you did. So although what you did seems extraordinary, it really isn't. What's extraordinary is your mindset. That is what we all need to feed to people. I was told early on, and I'm going to the Air Force next week in Alabama to receive something. And I'm so humbled by it because
he's being inducted to the Air Force Hall of Fame. It's pretty serious.
All I've done is what my colonel said to me. And he said, do a little more and you'll go a lot further. And that's all you did. So as wonderful as you are and as much pride as I have in seeing you, and I'm sure you have in yourself, you didn't cure cancer. You just did what was in front of you and you held your dreams. So how do you impart that to children?
Yeah, we host motivational talks. We host STEM leadership workshop, youth entrepreneurship workshops with different organizations. For example, we are working with UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund. Also, I got called to be speakers in different events. As you might be aware, the Forbes 30 Under 30, for the first time, it will be here in Africa, and it is hosted here by our president in Botswana.
What's going to be hosted? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Forbes 30 Under 30.
Oh, wow.
Forbes. Yeah. So for the first time to be here in Africa, and it's hosted here in Botswana by our president, Dr. Mokgweetsi Eric Masisi. And on that day, on the 25th of April, I've also been chosen to be one of the young people who will be talking to 600 young entrepreneurs across the African continent, much as you are saying, encouraging them that it might be hard, it might be difficult, doors might be closing on our face. The COVID-19 pandemic has really disrupted our business, but we should keep keep on going. So this is some of the messages that I'll be sharing with our young entrepreneurs that are going to be coming from the African continent, as well as some are going to be coming from United States of America as well.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, you're an inspiration, and it's putting one foot in front of the other and doing everything to your best ability, passing that one test, and then worrying about the next test. And passing that one, fly, the first time you're in a cockpit, and obsessing about that moment, not obsessing, like you said, you want to worry about your business and your foundation, and then you worry about being president. So, but once that dream comes into play, you're going to have the same focus to achieve that. And I would bet a lot of money that will be achieved.
Thank you.
I will bet a lot of money.
Thank you so much.
Andy, you got any more questions for our incredible guest?
I'm good. I'm
right.
just honored to have this conversation.
All right, make sure you buy the book Born to Fly if you want to learn more about Captain Phatsima's story and dare to dream along with us as we all find ways to achieve. Thank you so much for being here, Captain. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been quite amazing interview. Thank you, guys, who are logging on. I've been seeing a lot of beautiful messages. You rock. Thank you so much. I hope my story has inspired you to achieve your dreams.
And how can people find you? What's your website?
Our website is www.daretodream.co.bw. We are also on LinkedIn, on Twitter as Dare to Dream, and also myself, I'm on social media as Kgomotso Phatsima on Instagram and also on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate you, Captain. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Hold on. Leave her name up there.
I'm leaving her name up so you guys can get this.
Wow. You never know what you're going to get, huh?
She's hold on, I got to bring her back. I love that. All right, we'll see you later. You're very awesome.
What was she doing?
You can't see it backstage, but she's like, woo! She was like really happy. I was really happy. So it's interesting, Anthony, because you never know how some of these interviews are going to go, particularly when we get outside the hospitality industry. But what an interesting woman. What a great story. What an incredible journey.
Mindset and positive mindsets, you can talk to anyone, whether they're a pilot or whether they're talking about making grass greener. Like when people are happy and people want to achieve something and they're goal oriented, you can have that conversation with almost anyone. It is, and she was an easy interview because she's so excited. And when I made that prediction to say you will be like, I didn't say it like, oh, that would be a great thing. Like I knew that was in her heart because that's the way she thinks.
Yeah.
It's the way she thinks. It's that subtlety, that humbleness that she would never say that out loud unless somebody asked her that question.
Well, she denied it at first and then she copped to it.
Well, I don't know if she denied it, but she didn't start with that first.
You're very persuasive, Anthony, to get her to get her to admit that. All right, everybody, make sure if you're watching us, why not download the audio version of our podcast? You know the spiel by now. Get it wherever you get your podcast. And if you're listening to this right now, why not watch us every once in a while? This is a particularly good episode. Why don't you got to see the good old Captain there and see what she was all about. Reach out to us. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn on social media, or you can find us at glenn@novacancynews.com. Any final thoughts, my friend?
Yes, I believe you will be president one day of Houseman Smokehouse and Pool House, or whatever it's called.
That's great. One day I might be. Right now I'm CEO of the Houseman Resort Pool Club Smokehouse and Dispensary, but I might get demoted to president. So you could be right, Anthony. There's still time.
There is still time.
All right, everybody. We'll be back with another excellent episode. Yeah, I said it. Excellent episode tomorrow. And until then, remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
See you tomorrow.
How you feeling, Glenn?
Feeling good.